What's going on, everyone? What's the check down here? I am Chandler, my co-host David, episode 35, and today we have a special show, a special guest, Oregon running back, newly champion of the Holiday Bowl, Ellis Bynum. How you doing, Ellis? Welcome to the show.
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Today is going to be just kind of more just speaking the truth, what it is being a college athlete, what's it like, what's your own experience like, and be as real as you want to be. We're here to listen. You guide your story, and we'll just ask you questions based off that. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect. Cool.
All right. David, you got anything to add on before we jump in and let Ellis tell a story?
Nope. Just let's get into it.
All right, Ellis, floor is yours. First and foremost, kind of like just to start it, where you from, where you play, and how you got there, if you don't mind.
Okay, so I'm from Clackamas, Oregon, which is just outside Portland. It's literally like 10 minutes away from Portland. It's like the suburb right outside, and I've played football in Clackamas my whole life. Yeah, and so I grew up with like a lot of the kids that have played here, and then once I got to high school, I played for Central Catholic, which is like downtown Portland, or it's like southeast Portland, but it's right next to downtown, and that's a little bit different than living out or than living in the suburbs and then going to play like city school type thing. And so yeah, so and it's also a private school. And so we went. Throughout my whole high school career, we lost like I think it was like 4 times altogether. And then my senior year, we went 15-0. But yeah, like my like recruiting journey has been like crazy. Because I didn't, yeah, like so to start off, so I wasn't like I'd be the first to say that like I wasn't number one, I wasn't good enough sophomore, my freshman, my sophomore, and even my junior year to even play anywhere near like college level football. And I wasn't also like in the right mindset because it takes a different mindset to actually like be able to walk in and focus on your goals. And at those times, I was not there, and I was immature, and I was still doing stupid stuff. And so then, literally my sophomore year, so I was on JV my sophomore year, and I swung up for the playoffs because varsity usually needs like more scout team guys. And I did something stupid in school, and I got suspended from school. And then after that, so I wasn't able to like dress for the championship game because we also won my sophomore year. And I don't know. And so then after that, it kind of opened my eyes to everything because I was like, I really want to play college football, but it's like I'm not locked in, and I'm not like taking it serious like how I should have. So after I got suspended because it hurt because I watched me like that hurt like sitting like it being on the sidelines when everybody else was dressed and watching your friends like celebrate like that hurts a lot. So then basically after my sophomore year, COVID hit. COVID hit that March. So this is March or that February 2020.
Yes, sir.
And so that was crazy because like mind you, like I'm in the process of like changing my body and a whole bunch of everything, and everything shuts down. So basically, like during COVID, I had nothing better to do besides work out. Yeah, because you literally couldn't go anywhere. So I was like, I mean, this is time for me to really just get better. And well, I saw like I have like plenty of other athlete friends, and I saw what like a lot of them were doing. Guys were just sitting around smoking, playing games. Yeah, and I could see how it was really easy to fall into that trap just because we literally had nothing to do, and we're 16, 17 when we should be at school. Yeah, and then also during COVID, like a lot of like the mental health problems came back because like you sitting in the house all day with nothing but your family. And I mean, I love my family, but like every single day is a lot, and it feels like you can't talk to no one. So that's when I realized I really like start to put an emphasis on like prioritizing my mental health because I realized like how important that was, especially during that time. So back to the story. So we were back on. So this was during COVID. So like I said, I'm working out. I'm doing everything. I'm stretching. I'm taking care of my body. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. and then I started playing 7-on-7 with this one coach. His name is Ifo Ekbre Alamu. He's an All-American corner
I know who he is.
at
Yeah.
Oregon a few years ago. Yeah, and so he for sure changed like my football trajectory because he taught me everything like, and I'm not even talking about like football wise, like technique wise. He taught me just like about life and like how to like really keep your focus on something. And if you really want something, then you're gonna have to like do everything in your power to achieve that. So then, okay, so then my junior year we had that it was coming off of COVID. So this is 2021. Yeah. So spring 2021 was when we had our season rather than fall 2020. And during that time, we only had 6 games. I didn't even start. I didn't even start at running back that whole time. And that year, I scored 3 touchdowns. So like at that point in time, I'm thinking like, damn, like I'm really like not good enough. I'm just gonna have to keep doing more. Yeah, and because I scored 3 times. I scored 3 times in 6 games. So I'm like, there's no way, like no school is gonna want to do that. And on top of that, I'm playing in Oregon, and like Oregon football is not like it's not respected.
It's not
Like
highly
if I'm
recruited
being real.
compared to like being in California,
Yeah,
Florida. Yeah, it's not a
oh,
big. Yeah, I get
like
you.
Texas. Yeah, yeah. And then so I'm like, damn. So that season ended May, I think. Yeah, that season ended in May. So we had 3 months until the fall season to really work. So that June, July, and August to really just work. And I remember like it was me and one of my other teammates now. We went to the same high school, but we literally just worked. Like this is what our schedule would look like on some days. Like so we have 7 to 9 our school speed and conditioning workouts. And then after that we'd have 12 to 1, yeah, 12 to 1 like lifting with like I said with Coach Ifo. And then after that we drive down to a field, and from 2 to 4 we would do speed work, and then we would do like actual football like field work type things. So those days were for sure long, and if you keep stacking those type of days, you're gonna see progress. And then so then the season comes around and fall camp is coming in, and I'm feeling good. Like I'm feeling like I feel great. Like I feel like I'm really about to do something. And then I think it was the first day of pads. I was playing corner, and I dove for a ball, and me and another teammate collided into each other, and I sprained my MCL. So then I was out for 6 weeks at the start of my senior season. So I missed the first 2 games because that was the first day of fall camp. And I'm in my head, I'm like everything is going crazy because it's like I'm like I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. I don't my knee isn't even 100%. Like yeah, like I'm really getting scared, and I just put in all that work in the off season, and my season's already shortened. So then basically my whole senior year is me proving myself. I was talking on the sideline the other day with one of my teammates, and he was like, probably the most dangerous like football player is a high school guy with no offers, because they don't like they don't care. Like they'll do anything. They don't care about their body. Like that's and looking back on it, I was the same. So then my senior year, I went crazy. I scored every single game. I had like 23 touchdowns. I averaged like 10 yards a carry.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
shot
it's
out
just
of a
crazy stuff.
cannon. That is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you, but like just to go
yeah,
from you'll probably dive deeper into this, to go from obviously no offers 2 games into the season, completely explode, and then become a 3-star recruit.
That's
That's
amazing.
yeah,
that's
That's
work.
crazy.
yeah. That
Yeah.
that yeah that all that came from like those 3 months, like
That's
just straight
insane.
grinding.
Yeah.
Man, that's like I
Like
don't understand. Like I don't know if anyone's told you, bro. That is insane. That is a storyline. Like I don't know if people have told you, like how you went back. I'm gonna go back to COVID for just a second, and how you said like you had friends and everything that was just bumming around, smoking, like chilling, and you did what it was hard for a lot of people to do, and use that time of being alone and focus. And that snowballed
Mm.
into your junior season, even though it was shortened to the 3 months to the senior season. That is a year and a half of discipline that you don't see from a lot of high school kids, especially if they're going like if they're around the wrong influence. So man, I gotta give you props on
Yeah.
that. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
that's what I call a 1% mindset. If you have that kind of mindset, that's the type of mindset that takes you wherever you want to go. Like, especially at such a young age. In high school, I promise you, I did not have that mindset. And it's still hard to get to at like I'm 26 now, so I'm a little bit older. I've kind of figured some stuff out, but yeah, it's still hard to get to that. So you've got a leg up on to tell yourself that this is what I want and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get it. That is the kind of mindset that gets you places. And like
Mhm.
I hope you never lose that because that is absolutely work. And you saw it show up at when
Yeah.
you eventually were able to
Mhm.
get to a 3-star recruit. That's insane. That's something that I have never heard of is going from nothing to 3-star. Even like that's wild to me. And like when you were talking about your the progression of how you got to where you are now, I've been sitting here stunned because that's crazy to be able to that's crazy discipline. And I really I think you should be really proud of yourself. Obviously your job's not done, your work's not done, but for now
Mhm.
it's always good to look back and say, "Hey, I did that. I need to continue doing that." And yeah, just keep going.
Yeah.
Before I
See,
let you,
like the thing.
sorry, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
But oh, okay. So like the thing is like kind of like what you said. Like I kind of relate football to a lot of things in life. So if I'm able to do that and like just really focus and lock in on something, I can do that with anything in my life. Even outside of football. Yeah, so like once football is done, like I'm still gonna have to do something. So if I'm able to put like that same type of determination and dedication into one thing, I feel like I can achieve anything.
That's yeah,
For
and that's
sure.
that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. Really quick, I just want to ask and let you continue. So playing in
Mhm.
your senior season, coming off the MCL sprain, did you still have that injury all year?
I wore. So the funny thing is, so I wore a brace on my right knee every single game, and then quarterfinals during playoffs, I actually got the same injury on my left knee. So then I was like, I don't know what to do because I don't feel confident in taking the brace off on my right one, but my
Mhm.
left one, it was probably worse than the first one. And so I was like, I'm not sitting out for semis or state. And so I put the brace on my left one. I was like, I'm just gonna have to rock with this. And it worked. It worked for the most part, but like my MCL still hurt now. So
Wow. Like,
Yeah.
bro, like, do you hear yourself like running 50-yard touchdowns on a bum knee? Like that, like, I'm sorry,
yeah.
that's insane, man. That is passion, that is work. That's something like do not lose that. I'm flabbergasted. I don't even know what to say after that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I always relate a lot of things back to other athletes, and and that's some Kobe mentality shit. That's the who's the safety that cut off his middle finger just to play in the game? 49ers. Ronnie Lott. That's Ronnie Lott
Yeah.
shit right there. Cut off your that's
Yeah.
crazy. And that's the kind of things that people don't like I don't think people understand is that
Mm-mm.
it takes so much to be able to play the game that I played and we've all played at some point. You're still playing, but that the kind of sacrifices that you make that people just don't see just to get to your ultimate goal or to get closer to your ultimate goal. And yeah, like
Mm.
that's insane to me. I don't think I could have done that. I don't think I had that kind of mentality when I played. I wish I did, but I don't think I did. I honestly I respect it so much. Seeing and hearing about something like that is insane to me.
Appreciate that. I mean, it's like I I in my head I'm just thinking like, bro, I can't miss this like no matter what. Like I can't miss this at all. And I like what you said was people don't know about the sacrifices like especially now like in the college football like I'm seeing so something I found was interesting or I thought that was interesting is I'm seeing like all these guys that are hurt and like it's hard for guys to get out of bed in the morning and yet you go on Twitter and you see people talking you have a broken hand, play through it, or oh, you have a strained quad, play through it. Like it's different because you could literally die on the field, and we just seen what happened the other day, and it's scary. Like it's a real sacrifice to be able to compete, and I don't think people from the outside really take that into account. So
No, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Until something like what we saw earlier this week happens, people don't really think about that. And
mhm,
like it's like it's a very isolating thing to especially in your position, I would say, to be on the field giving it all you got, and then you got someone on Twitter being like, "Oh, you're shit" or
oh yeah,
whatever. It's insane. And that's another thing that people don't people just don't get is that you have to have tough skin to play a sport where it's
oh,
like you're out in the open. You're basically a public figure at this point. People will
mm,
say whatever they want to you. They don't care. You're just entertainment to them,
mhm,
and that's something that I really like feel that especially for you that shit you can't let that get to you and because that's the kind of things that trip you up and I feel like you have the mentality where it's like I like all that outside stuff doesn't matter. So I'm
mhm.
really glad that you do, and like I think that is gonna be very beneficial for you in my opinion.
And to piggyback off that, we won't get too deep into Oregon football politics. Not that there is anything, but like you guys were in the spotlight this year. Um, Transfer quarterback coming from the SEC. Like all eyes were on
Mhm.
Oregon. So
Oh
like
yeah.
there was a lot of
Mhm.
Twitter hate and a lot of Twitter love, a lot of Instagram hate, same vice versa. So like
After the first game when we lost to Georgia, it was oh man, like you couldn't go on Twitter, you couldn't go on Instagram. Like the guys I know are getting death threats. Like when we're back in Eugene, you can't go in the store. Like one of the guys I know, he was walking in the store with his girlfriend, and a guy walks up and goes, "Hey, are you da 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 da?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he's like, "Get the fuck out!" Like I'm like, "Damn!" Like it's like that. And
Yeah.
something people fail to realize that we're just humans, bro. And most of all, we're
I
18,
was gonna
19,
say,
20 year olds.
y'all ain't even
Like
getting paid for it yet.
you are 45.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like like
It's for
you
free.
are
This is free
45 and
entertainment.
we're
Yeah.
we're 18, 18, 19. Kids just trying to like literally just trying to like some of them are doing it for fun and some of them are doing it to really change their whole family generation. So it's like for you to come and say, "Oh, you're worthless," like you're worth that. It's weird because like imagine if I walked up to you at your job and I said, "Oh, you're worthless. You don't deserve to do this. You don't deserve
Yeah.
that,"
Yeah.
and make death threats against your family because you dropped the ball. Like that's crazy. Like that's actually crazy. So,
And
Yeah. I
go ahead, David.
sorry, Chandler, you can go.
I was just gonna say, like, you go, of course, that Georgia game, nationally televised, huge game, losing that. You also got to go back and actually go to school. Like,
Mhm.
people don't realize that part of
yeah,
it.
like
This isn't go back like you go watch a
yeah,
film and see how you guys. So y'all have a history exam at 7 a.m. the next day. Like this shit. Like,
yeah, like
Yup.
see. So I remember that because that was my first game like ever traveling. So we traveled, we lost, and then we have a 5 hour plane right back because it's in Atlanta. And then a good thing we didn't have school at that time because we started school a little later.
okay,
So like you couldn't go get food with Oregon stuff on because number one Eugene's a pretty white town. So
Yep.
like if you're black and you have like any Oregon thing on, you get a lot of people are gonna assume you're an athlete. So people walk up to you. Someone asked me why we lost, and I just looked at them. Um, yeah, it's deeper than a lot of people realize. So
no,
Oh
keep
yeah, no.
keep going. Seriously, that's keep saying what you're saying because that's what people don't realize. You can ask
uh,
David like
there-
on this. We're big advocates when it comes to this bullshit. This is like it's crazy. Like
I mean,
it.
there's more like especially the Oregon State game was probably the craziest thing. So like of course everybody did you guys see the video of DJ Johnson hitting that one fan? It was really viral.
I don't think I
I
did.
remember hear the story. I have not seen it though.
So basically after we lost we and then fans rushed the field and they said to DJ and
I think
Yeah,
I
you
And
think
give us 1 sec. You're cutting out a little bit. I want to make sure you're clear.
oh, okay.
So try talking again.
Uh, okay. Am I good? Am I good
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay. So basically at the end of the game, DJ Johnson we were walking off the field and the fans rushed the field, and this guy walked up to him and said something, and
Oh yeah,
DJ
I
hit
saw
him
this.
like on the back of the head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I saw
and
this. Yeah.
then see that game. The thing about people don't know about that game is like um those fans were crazy. Like those were the craziest fans I've ever seen. Like when we were walking back in the tunnel during halftime, we were getting beer poured on us.
Yep.
People were
Yep.
spitting on us. Everybody calling us the N word. After the game, you walking up, people with their phones, like just like this, like right next to your face, right after you lost. People hitting you on the helmet, like, and then you're expected to just take it and not respond. Um, which I don't think if you're not an athlete, many people could do. Because
No.
I used this metaphor earlier, but it's like if I went to your job and I told you suck and you're worthless, you would probably who knows what you would do. But to sit and hold that same standard for athletes is different. It's just that blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, I think something that I always find really really odd and like kind of a double standard is that like yeah, you wouldn't there's no other job where you are so you're especially as it's a job for you at this point. It's a job because you are
It's
doing
tough.
eight you're doing 8 hour days of football, you're doing 8 hour days of school. It's more than a job. You're working double time at this point. So for me, there's no other job where you're expected to take the bullshit from not only your coaches, not only the your teammates, and like obviously it's a little bit different from the people that are in the locker room. But then you're also supposed to
Yeah.
take bullshit from the media. You're supposed to take the bullshit from the fans. You're supposed to take the bullshit from everyone and just never say
Hmm.
anything. As a I don't know, 18 to whatever year old kid, you're supposed to be able to.
Hmm.
So whenever I see stuff like that, I kind of know that like you're at your your boiling point. You can't control yourself anymore. You're still a kid. You're allowed to express yourself. And for fans, sometimes I'm like, yo, if you fuck around and find out. That's literally what at that point
Yeah.
that's what it is. And it for me, if it was me, I would have done the exact same thing. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not the type of person that takes shit like that. So I see no problems with it. Obviously, the media is gonna blow it out of proportion. Other people are gonna blow it out of proportion, and I just think it's crazy. Like it's nobody, not like again, not a lot of people get that how much shit you have to put up with. And I
Hmm.
don't know. It's just crazy to me sometimes. Like when I think about it.
So people don't
Hmm.
realize football is a literal internship until you get to the NFL. It is
Yep.
an unpaid, for the most part, internship when you are a college athlete, and then you are put on a field with 100,000 fans, all drunk as fuck, same age as you,
Hmm.
rowdy as hell, and they do whatever they want, no consequences, and then
And they're
for some reason,
hmm
they get to rush the field after.
and they're jealous they're jealous that you get to do what they can't do. That's the other thing that nobody really understands is there are a lot of people who are hating outside the club and they're jealous that
yeah.
they can't be where you are because again a lot of those people maybe played in their high school, maybe played at some point in their life, so they think that, oh, why does this guy get to play and I don't, I could do a better job, blah blah blah, and hating
Hmm.
again from outside of the club. So they are going to do everything to bring you down, and that's just how the world is at this point. It's really like
See, yeah,
it's really hard
yeah.
to not cut you guys some slack, in my opinion. So like yeah, that I don't know, that shit just blows my mind.
I started tuning it out because like everybody's like, oh yeah, I could do this, I could do that, and I was like, okay, then you can then number one, you can either come and do it then, but number two, you don't want to do what we have to do. Like you don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. and then climb the stairs to Autzen.
Yep.
You don't want to, and then have class after that. You don't want to have practice when your body's hurting. Practice for 2 hours every single day, and then you have 5 hours of class, and then meetings after that. You don't want to do that, and you don't know like what this life is like. So just like stop talking. And everybody has an opinion, and that's what I hate. Even sometimes I even get that from the people close to me, but it's like you're not here and you're not in my position, so it's
Yeah.
hard to for you to understand like really truly what I'm going through, like what I'm doing. So
I
I
actually
kind
have
of
a
just
question.
I learned to tune that out. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. So for me, when I played, the biggest thing was trying to balance relationships, school, and football. Do you find like how do you make time for like everything outside of football when you're in football? Because that's the one thing I could never do is and like you lose friends, you lose so many people just
Yeah.
because you have to cut them out. You have to do what you have to do. Like it's really that like simple.
Something that I can't say that I mastered this, but I've gotten better at it ever since I came in. So I realized like number one, especially after like once my day is completely over, like school, football, I only have a certain amount of like time and energy that I can give and put into people or things. So say like if I want to talk to my mom, I have to be completely there, and I'm gonna mark that time off on my schedule so that I can't do anything else. Or like if I'm gonna talk to my girlfriend, then like mark that time off so I can't do anything else. So for me, it's a lot of just like I say it's discipline, but you have to realize what you put your time and energy into because you can't be like oh I have no time for myself, but like you're sitting down scrolling on social media all the time or you're hanging out with friends. You're choosing to hang out with friends. Um, yeah, you have a million choices. It's really about what you choose to truly do. And yeah, I'm still working on finding the balance, but you that's def to the like the college kid coming in to like being a student athlete. That's probably the hardest thing because you're gonna have no time and you're still expected to perform regardless.
Yep. The time aspect is something that I like when I first got to and like I don't think I like it might be to the same degree, it might not be, but for me we would have in the off seasons we'd have morning workouts, we'd have afternoon workouts, and then we'd have film, and then we'd have practice. And so shit like that, even when you're off, even when you're not in season, I feel like in season was actually maybe the time that I had the most time to do stuff. Off seasons, I like it was like grind all day, every day because that's the time where there's no football, so you have all the time to work out to
Yeah.
do all that stuff. So yeah, for me when I first got to university, you guys call it college, I call it university. But when I got to university, that was the biggest shock that I had to like had to get used to is that there was no time. There was no time, and if you do
Mm.
not manage your time well, you will find yourself just like back and forth,
Like
and it's crazy.
everything if you don't manage your time, everything is gonna crumble. Like your football, your school, and your relationships. So
Yeah,
you have to like really focus on that.
yeah. See, I like for me, I definitely like I chose to kind of make everything else other than my mental health as the as the focal point, and
Hmm.
it really got to me. By the time I was out of
Yeah.
football, it really got to me. So that's like like when you talk about finding that balance, that's definitely something that I like when I go coach, when I talk to other players who are like coming up right now, I always tell them, find your balance because again, once football's over, you have to figure out what like you have to figure yourself out and you have to figure out what you love to do. So if you don't have that balance when you're playing football, it's gonna be really tough for you. So yeah, for sure. That's like if I could give any up and coming player that like advice, that would be it. Because yeah, like it is tough and like that's the one thing that they don't prepare you for is the amount of
Hmm.
time because you think like in high school you're putting in all the time. You think like this is it. Like I'm
Oh
working
yeah.
so hard, and then you get to university or college and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I was not doing
Hmm.
shit before because this is your life now. But yeah, no,
Yeah. I
that's
feel you.
I really like it's really like one of those things that people don't understand that like the amount of time and effort and just like the amount of yourself that you give to the game and then like you just get nothing back and like there's no guarantees. That's the other thing.
Oh
There's
no,
no
at all.
guarantee.
We'll get into that part later too.
Oh man, it's I could go on for hours with this, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stop for and let
You,
Chandler take over.
no, you're good. So let's get back to all the way to the beginning then, before we get to Oregon.
Okay.
Senior year,
Okay.
you have the run, you guys win state. How Oregon, and then what is it like getting to Oregon? Because I know there's something specifically you want to talk about and get off your chest too. So let's go through that.
Okay. So usually so this is my senior year, right? And so the season's over. So usually what happens is like guys will usually get their offers either during the season or before the season. After your senior year is like you don't really hear about that. So the year ends and I just had like a crazy season, and so I'm like I have nothing. I don't have a single offer at this time. So I'm like, damn, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. So the same things that I kept doing in the same things that I was doing to basically get to like have that good of a season, I just did those afterwards. I was like, if I'm gonna have to go JUCO, then I'm just gonna have to make it out. Like I could do that. So I'm just grinding. I'm working, and so March goes by, February goes by. Yeah, and at that time, I think it was February 7th. Coach Locke followed me. He's a current running back coach, and I'm like, whoa, because mind you, up until this point, I had only been getting D2 and D3 offers, and I'm like, I know like disrespect to any D2 or D3s, but I was like, I don't want that. Like that's not my experience. Like I don't want to do that. And so then Oregon follows me on Twitter, and I'm like, whoa, like that's crazy. And to get like followed or like noticed in your senior year in I think it was March or February is like you never hear that. And then a few days later I get offered at PWO, which is a preferred walk-on spot, and so I'm like yeah, like I want to do it because also like I've been watching. I've grown up in Oregon my whole life, so it's like I want to. I've always dreamed of playing for Oregon. I used to go on NCAA 14 on my PS3 and like play with Oregon. I used to make myself like a running back and like
Yep.
yeah. So I've been Oregon my whole life, and so that came and I was like, oh, that's wild. Yeah, I was like, damn, that's crazy. And I still wasn't sure if I wanted to do it because I was still waiting to see if anybody else would like actually give me a full offer, and that never came. So to this day, the only like Division 1 interest that I truly had was Oregon, and that came way too late in my senior year. So yeah,
Well, I mean, for you got to realize like you went from 0 to 100 immediately.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you weren't doing like a cross country race. You were doing a full on sprint.
Oh yeah,
So that's
yeah.
what's insane is that you get a offer, no matter what you want to call it, to a Power 5 school. You're there. So especially being a hometown, like not crazy far from home, having that opportunity, that's
hmm
amazing. So we get through college or we get through high school, we get that opportunity, we get to Oregon, we get to Eugene. What's that like?
So the first few weeks in Eugene, it was cool, but it was interesting. It was definitely different than like what I've grown up to. So I've lived in the suburbs slash the city, so I'm kind of used to that. Eugene is like University of Oregon and nothing else. So there's rundown stuff, there's middle of nowhere type things, no like minorities or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, this is a little bit different. Like the only minorities are the athletes at school. And during the summer, the football team. I think there was a few other teams there, but mainly it was just the football team. So everything is different. Like I walk into a store with some Oregon gear on, I get immediately stared at. I go to like Target, um, people are following me around. Um, yeah, so that was a way different experience. And then football wise, like so we were only doing speed and conditioning at that time, and I was fast in high school, and I went there and I realized that I was not fast.
Yep.
That was humbling. And then I remember the first college workout I ever did. We did speed stations, and the first station was like we had to like push against each other for like muscle endurance or something. and I went against one of the other running backs, and we're pushing out, and I'm losing. Like it's kind of like tug of war, but like you're just pushing against each other to see who can win the line, and I'm losing, and I'm tired, and it's the first station. Like I'm super tired, and then we go through those whole I think there were 6 stations, and I was like, bro, like this is crazy. I can't, because I couldn't breathe after the first one, so I just had to really just push myself through all the other ones. And I was like this is gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, but after like 2 weeks, the conditioning stuff doesn't even get to you anymore.
So real quick question before you go to the next part. In the NFL, a big thing is like you have your rookie mini camp. When you get to college, is there anything for freshmen or sophomores, or is it straight just going right to everyone and just going through it?
Mm-mm. It's nope. Like they didn't take time for us to learn the playbook. They just kept going just like normal. They don't care at all.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Yeah, that speed, the speed thing is real, bro. That thing is real. Because the first time I realized that I wasn't as fast as I thought I was first scrimmage that we played. People were flying by me. I was like, oh, these are grown men, and I gotta figure it out. But yeah, you're right. Like after a while, you just kind of get used to it, and then you just don't notice it
Yeah.
anymore. And that's a weird thing, is that like I don't know when it clicked for me, but like for it was, or sorry, I don't know when it clicked for you, but yeah, like after a couple of weeks, I was like, oh, maybe I can hang, maybe I can play a little bit on this. But the first time you see it, it's an experience, because yeah, you just like, these dudes are fast.
It's not
These are
the
grown
same as high school.
Yeah, these are grown men. I'm playing real grown men now, and I got to become a grown man real quick.
so first few weeks getting settled in, what's going on? What was the biggest wake up call you have going into your first year?
Biggest wake up call.
And it can be
Probably that I was
anything.
not.
And it can be like
Okay.
life, it can be football, like it can be anything you need it to be.
Probably that I was not going to play.
Okay.
Or not. Yeah. So like what I mean by that is like I'm not. So I went from high school, being the guy to high school, and I know everybody talks about this. Going from the guy to high school, like I can do whatever. To go into Oregon and not getting, like, we do a whole team period. I don't get a single rep. I can't even get in on special teams. They're not like they don't care. Like it felt like they didn't care about me. And that was definitely the biggest wake up call, because I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna have to humble myself real quick and then just get back to working. And now it's like that doesn't affect me at all anymore. But it definitely that definitely opened my eyes, and it opened my eyes on life too, because you have to humble yourself when you think you're up here, and you meet some guys who are actually up here. And yeah, so
Yeah, I played, it would be something similar to like a state team, or I don't know exactly what it would be, but for in Canada it's like the provinces. So we had like
It's like state
like an
team.
all-star
Yeah,
team.
like an all-star team for your state.
Like an all-star team. So when you make the team, one of the guys who runs like the leagues in Canada, he comes and talks to you about going to the next level. And that was one thing that he told us. He said, just remember that when you go to the next level, you are playing against guys who are, and you are competing against guys who have been there for 4 or 5 years, who are waiting for their turn. Do not think to yourself, I'm gonna be the guy right when I get there. You have to humble yourself, because if you don't, you will be out as fast as you got there. And that's one thing and that's another thing, is that like you have to humble yourself, but you also have to remember what your goal is, and your goal is to play, and you don't want to get complacent with that goal. That's like, again, more layers and layers and balance it, like things that you have to balance when you're playing this sport, and when you're playing it at the level that you are, is just like, like just hearing you talk about going in and realizing that you're not going to play for the first 2 or 3 years or whatever is like just brings me right back to that point because yeah, like it's very humbling and like you have to be able to swallow your pride. Like that's the one thing that you can't
Mhm.
have in this game is pride. Until you
So you're
are
that
at
guy.
the top, until you're the guy, until you're at the very top, you cannot have pride because again, like you
Oh
will
yeah.
fall so quickly.
So we get to Eugene, first week's in, get into the season. I know you want to talk about one specific aspect of it. You talked about how Eugene's predominantly white. It seems like every college in the United States is always just thrown in some podunk town. Like University of Florida is in Gainesville in podunk.
Yep.
Like trust me, Athens, Georgia ain't that big. Like it is podunk. Tuscaloosa is podunk.
Mhm.
So what is it like with that change? Because trust me, I've seen it. I know what it's like. I just want to hear it from your perspective.
Different. It's very different. Yeah, like you can't. A lot of the privileges that you have of just being a normal person are gone. Like you can't. So say if it was me and like three other guys on the team, like three other like just black, three of my black friends. If we walked into a store, number one, we're gonna get stared at like the whole time. We all could be wearing just normal clothes. And number two, someone might say something to us. Um, People will you get mistaken for other people too. That's nothing that happened to me. But it's just weird, and they don't have like normal like things that you'd have in the city. So like a barber. They have barbers, but
My black
white
barbers.
hair and black hair is a little bit different.
Is it?
Yep.
And so it's hard. Yeah, yeah. You have to find some.
Yeah.
You have to like go out of your way to find a barber who can actually cut you and knows what they're doing. And there's a few of them, and there's guys who out here who like they just specifically cut the team because they know that most guys need it.
Yeah.
And then food is a lot different because a lot of us coming from the city and they don't have like the same food options. Like the main food options down there is Dave's Hot Chicken, McDonald's, Subway, and like a few like smaller non-chain restaurants. So like the food is not. I miss being back home strictly because of the food. And that's a big aspect. So
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
The barber thing is real. I live in Canada and I live in like I would say Minnesota of Canada. And so not many like I honestly don't think I can name one good black barber in the city that I live in. So I get that one. That one's crazy to me. I had to learn to cut hair just to get by. So now I do it myself.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even go to a white barber. I don't trust white barbers either. So, my barber is from Puerto Rico, and Tito does his shit. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
He does his
There
shit.
you go.
um, but listen, I will be honest with you. I had this conversation with a lot of people. I had this conversation with David. Had this conversation the other day. There's a lot of shit I don't like, and I will be the first to say it. It is how a lot of people are treated. Um, I understand my skin color. I understand the privilege that comes with it, and my main focus is kind of help with stories like that, like you, like David. You can ask him, because we need everyone to talk, everyone to speak, everyone to have a voice, and that's what's important. Like I know, like when you say people are saying shit, I grew up in damn Nassauville, Florida. I've seen some shit. Um, you hear shit that no 18-year-old kid should hear, especially coming from city Catholic school at that to a city like that or a town like that. So, other than that, what was it like on the team then with in the locker room and everything when it comes to switching like with a predominantly black possibly or half and half with the white and black people?
So okay. So this is actually something I really want to touch on. So the team, but the team dynamic is kind of set up like this. So most of the linemen, like the offensive linemen, are white. So like
Yep.
there's that little like there's that little group, and then most I said 95% of the skilled players are black, and then you have a few like white like outliers in other positions and like linebackers and stuff like that. But there's definitely like a cultural rift between because there's like the white guys from Oregon who grew up in the country and stuff, and then you have guys from like guys from the hood from like Cali and everywhere else, and those are the skill players. So there's definitely like a big rift. So like the white guys don't like rap playing like being played in the locker room, and then sometimes you walk in, there'll be country playing in the locker room, and it's different. And for me, it's like so I grew up in the suburbs, so it's like my experience as a black man is different than someone who grew up in the inner city. So that was something I had to get used to. I said that was socially it was hard. Just because you don't have the same experiences, and like you just don't have the same life experience and the same knowledge as someone who grew up different than you, whether that be better or worse. So,
So with that, I'm not gonna. So this is actually a random question. So you say when there's music playing, either country music or rap music, I feel like I could be completely wrong. The black players would have been more acceptable to the country music than the white players to the rap music.
Yep.
I would say that 100%. I mean, music is music.
Yeah. And
hey, that's one thing that music is music. No one like it doesn't matter. But so people just have a problem with rap. Sorry, Chandler. I don't mean to cut you off. Literally all this stuff that you're talking about, I've been there. When I started at the U of A, is the school that I went to. It was mostly the whole team was all white. I think you could
Canada is all white people.
There's like 2 or 3 black people on the team that like I could talk to, relate to. As I went on, I played 5 years at the U of A. As I went on, more black people started to show up. And so it's weird to me because I know this will probably never happen at Oregon because again, it's kind of like just how it is. It's status quo over there. Things just kind of flow the way they do, and it's very hard to change those things. But for me, it went from predominantly white to predominantly black. And then it's really funny because you talk about country music. We by the end of it, we had to like relegate the country music to White Boy Wednesdays. There's no country music. By the time we were done, it was just White Boy Wednesdays. That's the only time we played country music. Everything else was mainstream pop, rap, whatever. But like we even had to give that like day just to broker that peace and make sure that everyone felt included. But if it was the other way around, when it was the other way around, that was not a thing. That was unheard of. There was no Black Guy Friday or whatever, and it's just crazy to me, that's. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I hate to go on a tangent, but yeah, that's just weird.
See, like right now in the locker room, it's only rap being played. Especially when it's really only rap being played right now. But sometimes if like no one is like either caring or paying attention, then country will occasionally pop up. But for the most part, it's really just straight rap and like
it's good that like at least there's some things that you have there that feels familiar and like feels like home, like which at least that's a good thing in my opinion.
So you talk about that a little bit. Is there anything else like that was kind of a culture shock in the locker room? Like, did it ever go past that? Was there ever any true, like, without giving out anything that crazy, there was like any bad blood or anything between any groups or anyone in the locker room?
And you don't have to be
so
specific.
There is, but we don't have to talk about it if not. Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, just think of like 18 to 20-year-old or 18 to 22-year-old males all in one confined space who see each other every single day.
Sounds like a lot of love.
It's gonna be some shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look.
It reminds me of Remember the Titans, and that's just like all I have in my brain is like you in defense, you in offense, and this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So understanding like coming from a city to a small town, is there anything else that like was shocking? Anything else that like you really found just different from your life before?
Uh, nope. I don't. Uh, no, I don't. Like Uber. Uber is hard because there's no one. Cause there's like no one in the town, and like DoorDash, those things and like things like that, those take forever because there's no one. There's no one there. Because just the town has such a small population, and like 70% of it is college kids. So
Okay. So now we talked about some of the challenges that you have. What are some of the best things that have happened since you've gotten to where you're at today?
so traveling, I think traveling, like the San Diego trip, that was fun. Some of the best things, for me personally, I like when people like if you DM me, I'll try and respond. I get a lot of DMs, but like those things when I like can help a guy who like he's asking me for help and I ask him what it takes to get to the next level. I really like those, and I've even seen guys like they talk to me before the season and after the season they have this specific achievement or they have this specific offer that they're really working towards. So I say that is one of the best feelings, and then also it's like kind of the whole experience because I grew up like wanting to do this, and this is like literally my dream. And so to just be able to live it is crazy to me. Like I'm still thankful every day. I have pictures of me and like little me and Oregon Duck stuff. So it's like sometimes like when it's hard, I just like I try to take a step back and just be like, damn, like this is really what I wanted to do my whole life. Like this is my dream. Um, and I truly do love it at Oregon. There's not a lot of things I would trade it for. So
I love it. For you going into this next season or your entire career for football, what's the main goal and what's next for you?
the main goal, um, hmm, I'd say so. The main goal with everything is to really repay my parents to repay my parents because they had to drive me to all the 7-on-7 tournaments, all the football games when it was they had to be out there when it was raining, when it was cold. Like they had to repay my parents for that in some way, and then personally, I say like just being great and being known is what drives me because I've strived for that my whole life, and now I have like the genuine chance to do that. So I really got to just lock in and grab that opportunity. So
Yeah. Um. So I guess without being, or I guess I'm like, do you want to, play in the NFL or like what do you like? That's your ultimate goal, right? Like that's what you want to do.
yes, yeah, yeah.
I guess let me ask a fun question because we're being serious or whatever. If you got drafted in the NFL first overall, let's really first overall, who would you want to get drafted to? There is a right answer to this, by the way. I won't say what it
Oh,
is until after, but there's a right
Gross.
answer.
okay. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard one. Probably I say Seattle.
Oh,
I'm partially
Seattle.
biased because like I've been a Seahawks fan my whole life,
yeah,
but
that
it's
makes
not too
sense.
far away from where I'm from. The second one would probably be like somewhere in Florida because I don't got to. There's no income tax.
Yeah, income tax. Yeah, that's
Definitely
great.
down
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm a
Yeah,
Jaguars fan, so
but
trust me when it comes to that. Yeah, you want to be down here. That's where the
yeah.
money's made. Tyreek made a business decision, y'all. It's not because of what like he wanted to win a Super Bowl. He made a business decision.
A good decision. I
We'll
mean,
support that. Yeah.
that's those are one of the right, some of the right answers. I'll give it to you. That wasn't the answer I was hoping for, but that's okay. I'm a big
What
Giants
was
fan.
that he was looking for? Oh, ooh.
Yeah,
I'm a
right.
big
Let's throw
Giants
away all
fan.
of our
I
money to
know,
New
I
York
know.
taxes and get yelled. You think pressure is bad in
Yeah,
college
New York
football?
is
Let's just
terrible.
get to New York and get shit on every way
Yeah,
possible.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. It's crazy up there.
yeah.
And it's cold. It's cold. That's another thing. Like, I don't like being cold at all. I
I
can I
moved
can deal
away
I can
from
deal I
Canada.
can
I
deal with
got
the
you.
cold. Yeah, I can deal with cold, but like just playing football in the cold is not fun. Like every hit hurts. Your fingers are all numb.
Yeah.
The ground hurts even more. Yeah,
What
face mask,
what's
like getting hit by a face mask hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's
I agree.
minus 16 in
Minus
in
16 Celsius is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going the wrong way. It's going to be like minus probably 4 or like closer to minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit. So,
yeah, so I've played in that before.
I mean,
So
we played
that
in minus 30. My last ever or high school football game was in minus 30
this really,
blizzards.
yeah, it was. I remember that actually. Yeah,
I was
I
a
played in
quarterback in
some
high school. I
cold ass
dropped
games.
back to throw the football, it deflated my hand. I felt like Tom Brady. Um,
But that, yeah, yeah. No,
um,
I played in some cold ass games, so I get you for sure.
um, first time walking into the Nike in Eugene, what was the experience like?
Like, are you talking like the campus or like school?
The store, the famous, like everyone wants to go there. Every Oregon athlete wants to go there. What was it like to see like the Nike there?
Uh, See, so I've been I've grown up with Nike. Like the Nike employee store and like the headquarters is literally like 40 minutes away from me. So if I really wanted to go see it, I would. And I've been down there. So like walking down here into Nike was like it was kind of just like another thing because I mean like I've been to the headquarters, I've been to the employee store, I've been to Eugene, I've seen all that. So that didn't really take me by surprise.
All right, I got you. Um, is there anything else you want to get off your chest or say at all? Like, floor is yours. Anything specifically you want to talk about?
Uh, I say okay, yeah. This is something I want to talk about. So a lot of people will talk about how college athletes are spoiled, and I say now in the era of NIL is like college athletes are spoiled. They have too much. They already have a scholarship and all things like that. But what a lot of people I feel like don't take into account is so number one for me, like I'm a walk on. Which my experience is completely different than someone on scholarship. So, for example, like we don't get we don't get the same amount of money that the scholarship guys get, yet we still have to be there for the same amount of hours. We don't get the brand deals that all the scholarship guys get. Our school is not paid for whatsoever. Um, so we're on the team, and we're doing essentially everything that a normal college football player does, but for free. We have like a few perks outside of that, but a lot of it is like you putting your whole body on the line and like you're risking like serious bodily injury for essentially free. And if you're a walk on and you get hurt, like no one cares about you. Like yeah, that's the worst thing you could do because there's no investment in you. Like no one cares. Um, I say like something that I've seen, and this happens at everywhere is like say if someone gets hurt in like a play or like a drill, they'll just move the thing up. Like they'll just move the drill up. And while the guy will still be on the ground and like the trainer will be up, they'll just move the thing up. I like the and that's crazy to me. That really blew my eyes.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
That's one thing I think. Again, another thing that you don't see in high school is that, like, if someone gets hurt, will you won't just continue playing. You
They'll
kind of
stop. Yeah. High school
yeah,
will stop practice. Here
yeah.
now, if someone gets hurt,
No,
they'll either
here
move it to
it's
the other
we're
field
done.
or
We're
move it
moving
up.
on. Yep, exactly.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, I've been there. I saw someone literally get carted or like taken out by ambulance. The game or the practice was still going on. That's how.
Yep.
Because it again, it like a lot of these like coaches and stuff, they have a job to do. They have stuff. So for them, it's their job. You got to keep going. You can't just stop a
Yeah.
practice for one guy. It's crazy to me, but it definitely gets you to that mindset of like, I have to figure out for myself, and I have to be able
Yeah.
to. I'm I'm like the team aspect of it, and like I'm here for my team, but I also have to put myself like first because
You got,
nobody's
especially
gonna
being
put you.
18, you got to grow up. You have
Yeah,
to grow up real quick because
yeah,
if you get hurt and they don't see any value in you, you're gone. And
hmm
especially being a walk on, you're still gonna have um $20,000 in debt, and you only been here for 4 months. So um, you're gonna have to grow up really quick and realize that no one, number one, no one cares about you, and number two, you're gonna have to start doing like you're gonna start have to doing shit by yourself,
hmm
and really just man up
Yeah.
because
yeah,
life gets real quick.
Well, it's a good
yep,
humbling experience, like you said. I'm assuming it makes the drive stronger, harder, faster. It makes you want to keep pushing, prove everyone wrong. Um, is there? I have like two more questions I want to ask and then let you go. But one question I want to ask: is there anyone that has impacted your life that you do want to shout out that like really does help you go through every single day? At this point in your life.
hmm
So I would say there's a few people, but like the people like immediately close to me, I'd say my friend, which is Zach Grisham. So we kind of have the same high school journey together, and we worked out the whole time, like everything. So those same 3 months, I was right next to him, and so now we're both at Oregon, and we're both kind of doing the same process, and we both push each other every day. Like after practice, we're doing reps against each other. We're always texting each other like, you trying to go get a lift in, or you trying to go watch some film. Yeah, and then the next person I'd say is my was Coach Ifa. He really like I could say he changed my life, and he helped me learn what I wanted out of my life because I didn't want to just be a bum and just like sit on my ass all day. I really wanted to achieve something, and then my family. That's kind of who I really do it for. Like they they drive me every day when I don't want to do it. Because I realize that like this is big. This is bigger than me. So
You got any questions, David? Good answer, by the way. Absolutely, like most important answer. Sorry, like it.
yeah,
Like I want you to know that. Like I'm glad people came into your life and changed it. I'm glad you still care about your family and you have more than just yourself to do this. It's for everyone on your back. You kind
yeah,
of
mhm.
alluded to earlier. I wanted to comment on it then, but kind of what it goes like when you said earlier, like your family or your friends were like, "Oh, you can't be that hard" or something like that. Like they'll comment on it towards you, and it's like you have this weight on your shoulders, and they can kind of parade around it, but like
Mhm.
you're in the back carrying everything. You have this fight
Yeah,
that you're
like
fighting,
mm,
and they're all able to go like, "Oh yeah, look at Ellis, look at Ellis, look at Ellis," and you're like, "Yeah, I'm drowning over here. I need a hand or two."
yeah, it that I say like when my mama's posting on Facebook, and I'm like she's like, oh, look at my son doing so well, and I'm like bro, this is hard. Like this is hard every single day. Like going to practice is hard every single day. Um, so yeah, I definitely relate to that one.
yeah.
Because it's hard. It's hard, and no one really you don't really understand that if unless you're doing it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. David, you got anything?
Yeah, no, like just I mean, I got two things as well, I guess. My one thing is like just for me, and this is something that I tell everyone that like is playing is going up is that like you don't the things that are put in front of you, the challenges that are put in front of you, you can overcome. Like, and my parents always said this to me. My parents are very religious. They'd always say this to me, but I kind of turned it into more because I whatever. I my parents always said to me, God doesn't give you anything that you can't overcome. Anything,
hmm
any kind of challenge that you have, just remember that you are strong enough to overcome it. That's the one thing that I think that I maybe had forgotten at some points in my life and that I wish someone would have told me. So I always try to tell anyone that is, going through a challenge like yourself and going through trying to get to their goal. That's something that I always tell them. My other thing is, this is more of a funner question, but what was it like putting on that classic Oregon jersey for the first time? I remember Oregon had the craziest jerseys when I used to
Yeah.
love watching Oregon, and like they've had some crazy combos. So what was it like wearing that Oregon yellow, like that classic jersey?
It was like that. That is when I knew like this is real.
Mhm.
Because like I've been dreaming of that moment literally my whole life, and to see like a jersey on my locker with my name on the back, like that says with the Oregon on the front on the chest, like that feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but that was just crazy.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that feeling. I feel like that's like a little drug. Like that feeling, you can bottle it up and sell it because that shit
Hmm.
is crazy, right? Yeah, I wish I could have played like Oregon because yeah, I loved Oregon when I was growing up. I remember DeAnthony Thomas. I even remember Ikpe when he played because I think he played the same year that Mariota was there. I think that was the
Yep.
year when they
Yep.
went to where they went to the
National
um,
championship.
national championship.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember loving Mariota. I was all about Mariota, like, and still to this day, I still root for him because yeah, he's my guy, and I really hope he has a great career. I hope you have a great career. I'm excited to see you play, and yeah, like I just that's all I have for now.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Um, the last question I really honestly had kind of goes piggyback off something David earlier said. If you could play with any person in the league, because a lot of football players don't have a favorite team, but they have a favorite player. Who would you want to learn from? Who would you want to play with?
Like current or
Current
just
or
in
even
general?
with you right now? Anyone in the like? Who would you want to see in the league, and who do you want to be with in the league?
Okay. Someone I want to be with. Um. Hmm. Probably. I like Alvin Kamara because so he's kind of like more low key, but the way he takes care of his body and the way he takes care of um like his 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 performance football wise is like that's like the type of mindset and the type of level that I want to be on. Now the off the field stuff I don't know about that, but like the way he manages his football life is what I kind of want to strive to be. And then someone I want to play. You said someone I want to play against.
Yeah, sure. Who do you want to play against?
Um, hmm, probably yeah. Uh,
Hole opens up.
damn.
Ellis running straight down the middle, and on the other side, this big
Ooh.
old 99 Aaron Donald sitting there waiting for him to
I
come
don't
through.
know. I don't.
It could be a
If
retired player.
I don't probably, damn, I don't know. That's a really good question. Um, damn, I don't know. I don't know. I say if I was on defense, I would want to play against Crabtree because I remember the 2010
Respect.
2014 Seahawks Niners battles. Like
Yeah,
those were
I was
crazy.
gonna say
I
Richard
love to
Sherman,
watch.
but yeah, it works out too.
Yeah, yeah. So
respect.
um, other than that, thank you so much for being on. Thank you, honestly, for just responding, being here. I greatly appreciate it, man. Your story is crazy. I want you to remember that. Like, you got a one in a kind story, so keep it going, keep pushing, keep thriving, keep fighting. Um, you don't need to hear it from us, but I know it's important to hear it from someone. So keep pushing yourself. You got this. Every single day, get stronger, get faster, get better. I hope this isn't the last time we speak. I hope we can stay in touch in some
oh, for
manner.
sure.
Thank you for giving us your time. I know how hard it is, but I greatly appreciate it, and that's all I gotta say for you. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you,
All
man.
right,
Thank
thank you
you.
for having me. Thank you for having me.
For Ellis, for David, my name is Chandler. This is What's the Checkdown and episode 35 in the books. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
Peace.